Hello. I'm so excited to share with you one of our first things that we're going to be creating in our sketchbooks, and that's the perspective name Skill Builder. As you can see, here are a couple of ways that you can create your name. We're going to be using our colored pencil and marker techniques. You're going to need your sketchbook, a pencil, an eraser, a ruler, or something to draw with a straight edge. So in this first example, that's my name. And I decided to draw my paper in half, but you can use the full paper if you want to. I'm going to show you how I created my name below by first starting out with what I call a whisper line, spelling out the word art. I would like for you to spell out your name, but I'm using art as an example. Now, once I've done the whisper line of art, I'm going to decide where my vanishing point is going to go. I decided to have the vanishing point on the lower right-hand side for the bottom one, and it's the upper right-hand side for the top. As you can see, using that whisper line again, very, very light lines, I am making my capital letters now into block letters by giving a little bit more thickness and a straighter edge to them. You could curve off your edges if you want to. This is how I chose to do mine. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is using my ruler or straight edge and that vanishing point to create the orthogonal lines that go from each edge of the letter to the vanishing point. Now, in situations like you see with the A where it's underneath and it hits something, that's when you would stop that line. You only carry the line all the way to the vanishing point when it is free and clear and it's not going to run into anything else. So you're going to see me here again where I don't have the line go all the way through. It stops when it hits the R. So you're going to have to be really aware of what's going on with your letters as you're drawing these orthogonal lines. As you can see, you can use a ruler or you can use anything that has a nice ruler, or you can use anything that has a nice hard edge to it so that you can draw straight lines to your vanishing point. So every line that I am drawing is going right to the vanishing point. I'm not trying to freehand it for this. I really want to make sure it's nice and accurate because I want to give that illusion that it is popping out in space. And really the only way to do that is to use a vanishing point with those orthogonal lines that go to that vanishing point. Now, where you put your vanishing point is totally up to you. I did mine on the side. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to take a straight edge and decide where your letters end. And any area that is parallel to the end of your letter, you're going to want to make a straight horizontal line that's parallel to it. Then from there, you can see that I'm making lines that are going up from that parallel line, that's that horizontal, up perpendicular to that line, but parallel with whatever line it's echoing. So for the T, that's a vertical. For the R, that's an angle. So you have to really look and see what kind of lines you should be making. And you can see that I'm erasing all of those other pencil lines because I want them to go away. The next thing that I'm going to do is use either a Sharpie or a permanent marker of some kind. I really love my Prismacolor very fine tipped markers, but you can use anything that's going to not smear. The big thing is you don't want it to smear because you might be doing some more erasing. So the next thing I'm going to do to help really make my letters stand out is outline them very carefully with my black marker, my thin lined permanent marker. And you can see that I'm at this point not using a ruler, but if I wanted to be very, honed in and focused on my craft, I probably should use a ruler, but I was being a little bit quick here. So you'll want to outline all of your markings that you made in pencil that you want to keep. Sometimes you have to kind of pause and look and make sure that it is exactly like you want. Now, the type of sketchbook that I use is a Canson mixed media sketchbook because it's a little bit thicker paper than just a normal drawing or normal sketchbook. I like the thick paper because it gives me a lot of options in terms of media that I can use. Like these markers aren't going to run through it. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is create a border. For the top one, I created a geometric rectangle. For this bottom one, I'm using an organic sort of squiggly marking around. In addition to creating that border, I'm using a series of organic and geometric shapes to help add some additional interest to my work. Remember that organic shapes are shapes that are inspired by nature, and geometric shapes are hard line, rigid shapes. They're usually man-made shapes that have a hard edge to them and a specific name. So you can see there's some triangles, squares, rectangles, different things like that. Whereas with squiggly lines and blobs, they don't really have a specific name to them. So once you create your series of the border, whether it's organic or geometric, and then organic and geometric designs around it, you want to outline it again with that thin line marker. And then you can erase your pencil marks. You might want to be a little more careful than I was. I kind of smudged. I didn't wait long enough for the marker to dry, and so it kind of smudged some of it. So I would wait a little bit for it to dry before you erase. Next thing, I'm going to put my colored pencil techniques into the background. So you can see I use cross-hatching, blending, pressure. Same thing with my marker techniques. I use stippling and cross-hatching and line thickness. So I want to see you do that with your work. Can't wait.